Call to the booth. We got a big week on primetime. Bills, Chiefs, Rams, Seahawks. Which one of these rookie quarterbacks is ready for primetime? Paul, drop that beat.
Call to the booth, Harrison Sanford, Aqib Talib, and getting you ready for week 5 and also getting you ready for the Super Bowl, which will be in LA. If you guys haven't heard, last week, the announcement was made for the Super Bowl artists: Kendrick Lamar, Mary J. Blige, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Dr. Dre, Aqib. I know you're going to be in the building, and I know you're going to be with the vibes come halftime here in LA.
I don't never think I saw a Super Bowl show, a halftime show, Harrison. So, you know, I'm checking shit off my bucket list, Harrison. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to the Super Bowl. I'm watching the halftime show. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad Jay-Z got involved with it. He got Dr. Dre involved with it. Let him set up that show. That shit going to be dope.
Wait, so hold on. You've never seen it live. You have watched it, like, on the couch, like, in the year that you didn't play the Super Bowl.
Well, nah, because, you know, halftime, we doing extracurricular stuff. We moving here, we moving around. I'm not really sitting there watching the halftime show. I promise you, I never watched the halftime performance before from the Super Bowl. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do that shit this year. Nice little West Coast setup. Make sure I'm locked in.
I feel it. I understand.
We had Beyonce. We had Beyonce Super Bowl 50. I wanted to poke my head out so bad, Harrison. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to poke my head out so bad. Told wifey to record it. She like, nah, I'm enjoying it. I ain't recording it. But you know what I'm saying? We probably had one of the hardest ones. Bruno Mars, Beyonce, Coldplay. We probably had one of the hardest ones. So I wish I could have seen that one. But, you know, Dr. Dre and Snoop, they gonna make it shake.
It's gonna be lit for sure. Coming up on the show today, we're gonna break down that game between the Los Angeles Rams and the Seattle Seahawks. And Key will actually be on the call for that. We got to talk about his involvement with that Amazon Prime broadcast. We're going to talk about some rookie quarterbacks as well. But again, talking about Eminem and Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, got me feeling a little bit nostalgic, Aqib. And as you were doing the Bears and Lions game this weekend, we saw the fit clean again. Yeah. And I think it had people on Twitter. Paul, cue me up a little bit. I had people on Twitter feeling a bit nostalgic as well.
I saw that. Hey, that was a great one right there. That was a good one.
Little side by side.
I was cleaner than The Rock though, man. Much cleaner, nice and neat.
And then this other one one did it for me too.
Hey,
for those.
That's the funniest episode on all the Martins, bro. The New Jack City episode, by far. Funniest episode on Martin.
Yeah, I think there was another tweet that for those who are only listening, we showed a side-by-side of Aqib and the young Rock with the chain. And we just showed Martin from an episode where he was with a dog and he was imitating CMB. One of the better tweets, too, was talking about you looking like you were holding a CMB meeting from New Jack City. So...
Hey, Twitter ain't shit, bro. Ooh, shit. Twitter crazy. I love Twitter. I love y'all people, man.
Yes, indeed. A lot of people like Twitter yesterday, too, or on Monday because Instagram is down. But that's another story for another day, for another podcast. Let's talk some football. Again, you were at Soldier Field for those Lions versus the Bears. What were your major impressions of that game? Man, and we'll save actually the Justin Fields discussion for the back end.
Okay, the Bears is close, man. They still, that defense, it ain't gone yet. They got guys returning. That Bears defense still gonna bear down. We noticed that. They ran the football good, and Justin Fields, he ran that show.
The one thing as I was watching the game, you know, you and I before the game was played last week, we were talking about optimism for the Detroit Lions, the way they've come back in games, the way they've started out games well, particularly against the Packers. But something always goes wrong. This game, again, I know Dan Campbell has to be frustrated. All those trips to the inside the 10, no points. And then probably the more critical thing that I was confused by, it was 4th and short. They were down by 10, end of the game. It feels like you have to take the field goal because you're going to have to score a touchdown anyway. You must have – I think you were confused as well.
I would have took the field goal, definitely. But I feel where you're coming from, man. You on like the 4-yard line. You like, man, we close. Shit. If we was on the 9 to 11-yard line, kick the field goal. But we on the 4-yard line. He felt like he could predict what coverage they was gonna be in. I think they did a pretty good job getting the route that they wanted. But Ogletree done found a 44-inch vertical somewhere and tipped that ball down. But man, that's why they get paid the big bucks, man. Them head coaches got to make them real decisions, and you ain't always gonna be right.
Yeah, that's for sure. Speaking of unfortunate things that happened on the other side of the ball, at least for the Bears, David Montgomery, he's out 4 to 5 weeks with a knee sprain. He's going to put some fantasy value on Damien Williams. Do you think that Damien Williams is a starting person in your flex for fantasy football purposes? Just watching how the operation moved last week up close.
Definitely. I've been loving his game since he was in Kansas City, right? I ain't really see him in Miami. I really got to see him in Kansas City. I'm like, oh, he could tote. So when he got to the Bears, they gave Montgomery the ball so much. I knew this day would come, right? But you could depend on Damien Williams, man. He gonna tote for you. Got great vision. He a solid guy. You know what I'm saying? And he got in and played well once Montgomery went out. So that O-line is playing well. So he'll hop in and do his thing.
Apparently, the Bears are not sticking with Justin Fields. Coach Nagy said that when Andy Dalton returns to full health, he will be the starter. But that offense looked a bit better for Justin Fields this week. Darnell Mooney had a really nice series of catches throughout the course of the game. What are your impressions now of seeing Justin Fields from week 1 to week 2? Now you got to see him in person.
Mooney definitely had a day, man. He was super explosive on Sunday. But Justin Fields, he got comfortable in the previous 2 games I seen him. He was not comfortable at all, right? He just, them reps, man, them game reps, them practice reps, your guys picking you up, and you just seeing it happen, seeing it happen how it's supposed to happen all week in practice as the starter, that can do something for you in the game, right? So he came out, man, he played with great rhythm. He made all the throws. The numbers ain't jump off the page, but I promise you, he controlled that whole game. It had 4 scoring drives. He impacted those scoring drives with dimes. I'm talking about complete dimes out of that play action. Good run, play action, dime. So Justin Fields, if it was me, I have him. I wouldn't come off the gas that fast, man. He rolling now, so I'll keep him in there. But I don't get paid the big bucks, Harris. It ain't my job, baby. That's why them dogs get. That's why Nagy and them get paid the big bucks.
There you go. It is a difficult decision because you have more tape with Andy Dalton for sure, but at the same time, the fan base definitely wants Justin Fields out there, but you got to win games to keep your job. Speaking of winning games to keep your job, Urban Meyer and the Jacksonville Jaguars still winless on the season. But again, another quarterback that you got to see in person, Trevor Lawrence. By the way, my best bet would have been right when it comes to the Jaguars and Bengals on Thursday night, even though we didn't place that. Trevor Lawrence, how do you feel about him now that you got to see him on Thursday Night Football on TV, and then obviously you saw him in person when they took on the Cardinals?
The same, man. I feel like the more reps, the more game experience he getting more and more comfortable as well. So that's another team. They flying. Both of those teams, the Lions and the Jags, they flying around, bro. They playing a great half of football. I don't know what's going on with them in the other half, whether that's the second half or the first half. They only putting together 2 quarters. So the Jags just got to find a way to put together a complete game, man. Eliminate some of the negative plays. They close too, man. It's a young team, good group of vets. But Trevor Lawrence, he going to be one of them guys for sure.
All right, bet. And then finally, we are looking at Mac Jones and Zach Wilson before we go on to the power rankings. Real quick, obviously, Mac Jones, primetime game against Tom Brady, and Zach Wilson getting their first win, and thankfully we didn't pick against them in Survivor, getting their first win against the Tennessee Titans. Real quick on those 2 rookie quarterbacks as well.
Zach, I think he just need more weapons around him. Get some more explosive guys around him, just some more consistency around him, right? And I think that'll elevate his level of play. And Mac Jones got it figured out, man. He got it figured out. He get the ball out on time. Half of his interceptions he thrown is completely not his fault, drop balls or tip balls or whatever. But he got it figured out. He don't like what he see, check it down. He in the perfect system. They got good defense over there. He got Josh McDaniels. He got weapons around him. He might be in the best situation out of all these guys.
Yeah, it's what he did on Sunday night almost took them to the win. I think a lot of Patriots fans probably disappointed that Bill went for that field goal and didn't give him a chance to get that first down that could have clinched the game. Before we get out of here and go to our A plus matchups for Week 5, we gotta look at our power rankings for week going into this week. The Cardinals here at number 1, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 2, Dallas Cowboys at 3, Buffalo Bills new to the rankings. Some say they should have been there from a long time ago. At least Bills would. Bills fans would.
Tell you
They're
why.
at number 4, and the Los Angeles Rams at 5. We could talk about the Buffalo Bills, but first let's just talk about those Arizona Cardinals. They are now the favorite in the NFC West at plus 170. You've been on the Cardinals for a minute. They took down the Rams this past week. They pretty much controlled it from the beginning of the game to the end, but their upcoming schedule is brutal. I think Paul is letting us know, Paul, our betting expert and our producer, letting us know this is not the right time to put your chips down on the Arizona Cardinals. Maybe you wait for them to get some losses.
Not at this price. Right team, right price.
Paul.
Right team, right price. I think you'll let them see how they go through this span a little bit if the number dips a little bit. You already told us to get it at plus 800, plus 750. No reason to get it at plus 170.
Nah.
There you go.
I like them, man. I like what they're doing right now. The schedule already started to get tough, if you ask me. They went to SoFi Stadium against the Rams. It looked easy to me. So, man, they might be the most dangerous team in the league, man. They got the most dangerous quarterback. They got the most dangerous group of skill guys. They D-line might be the most dangerous. Hey, they flying around playing football. Now you got Byron Murphy creating turnovers, Budda Baker involved. So they got the right makeup, man. This could be a special team.
Speaking, and we were talking about the Bills. You know what? I have a funny feeling that they're going to be a part of our no-fly zone. So when we come back after the break, we'll do the no-fly zone, and then we'll probably spend some time talking about the Bills because they also play big-time matchup Sunday Night Football against the Kansas City Chiefs.
What's going on? Pastor Tan here, and you're watching Call to the Booth.
Back with more Call to the Booth. You know we have to do it every single week. Aqib, who's been a 5-time Pro Bowler, breaks down the best secondaries in the NFL Week 5 rankings real quick. Number 1, Buffalo Bills, not ranked last week. Cleveland Browns, Los Angeles Chargers, Denver Broncos from 1 to 4, and then finally the Los Angeles Rams, who had a hard time with Kyler Murray and the boys this past weekend. We said we'd talk about the Bills. Let's talk about the Bills. Aqib,
gotcha.
They had a weak strength of schedule to start the season. We all predicted them to beat the Texans, but at a certain point, regardless of the schedule,
right,
they had to be recognized.
So that's why they wasn't in. Their schedule was weak, right? You played 4 lesser opponents, 4 guys you was supposed to beat. So that's why I was hesitant to put them in, my power rankings. I kind of go by that schedule, man. I go by who you lost to, who you beat, right? They ain't really, Washington, Dolphins, Steelers, Texans. I didn't really like it, right? But if you giving guys 0 points in the NFL on multiple occasions, you definitely doing your job. So you came out against the Texans. You supposed to dominate them. You gave them 0 points. You got 4 interceptions. You dominated them, right? Same with the Dolphins. Their quarterback get hurt. You supposed to dominate them. You got 0 points, 3 interceptions, right? You dominated them, right? So I gotta respect the game, man. Bills, they coming in and they coming in hot. Number one pass D, number 1 in points in the NFL. That'll get you number 1 rank on my no-fly zone list.
And they easily could have been 4-0 if it wasn't for that blocked punt that turned into a touchdown for the Pittsburgh Steelers in Week 1. Easily 4-0. We're actually going to talk about Tre'Davious White in a little bit before we preview that Sunday Night Football game. But we got to focus in on Thursday since you'll be doing the game with Amazon Prime. For anybody who's watching or listening, can you explain exactly what you'll be doing with that broadcast? And then we're going to get to our A-plus matchup of DK Metcalf and Jalen Ramsey.
So we not necessarily doing like the play-by-play, the analyst, the serious way like we do on Fox. We kind of, have a drink, eat some popcorn, and, put the cameras on us and just watch us analyze the game in that kind of setting, right? So it's going to be fun. We're going to keep it light. But we going to, I'm lead, right? So I got to talk a little football. So we're going to have it fun, man. I'm glad Amazon let me be a part of that.
Yeah, no, it should be a lot of fun. And I think our friend of the show, Chris Long, is also joining you as well as a part of that broadcast as well. So excited to see both of y'all get to work and do what you guys do. Speaking of doing what you guys do, it's breaking down matchups between top wide receivers and top defensive backs. A-plus matchups. Aqib, what's the rule?
You gotta follow, baby.
And we're hoping that Jalen Ramsey follows DK Metcalf. We know Jalen Ramsey's been using the star position so far this year, moving all the way around. How do you anticipate that matchup between him and DK Metcalf?
See, I'm getting a better feel for how they're using Jalen. So early downs or early passing situations, sometimes he might be at that star, but real third down, crucial, gotta have it situations, he on your number one guy, man. So he gonna get a lot of DK Metcalf. He saw a lot of Hop last week, Evans the week before. So he's still following. Just not completely all game where he get bored. You know what I'm saying? They bring him in the slot, let him get active a little bit, get involved in these runs and these screens. But in gotta have it situations, red zone, third down, he definitely following. So DK and Jalen definitely gonna go head to head on Thursday night.
Big time NFC West matchup. The Seahawks got their win against the San Francisco 49ers, who were without Jimmy Garoppolo for that second half. Los Angeles Rams coming off an embarrassing loss to the Arizona Cardinals, who they just could not contain the animal that is Kyler Murray. So as we look at this matchup now in this tough NFC West, Aqib, if you could point out three factors or three things that you're specifically watching for in this game.
Well, I'm definitely going to watch both quarterbacks, man. What's quarterback is going to be extra special? They both special. Which one going to be extra special and do something crazy, create some extra time, hit a guy downfield? That's going to change the game. Number two, definitely watching that DK and Jalen Ramsey matchup. It's going to be on the offense left, defense right. DK ain't going nowhere else. You know where to find him at. Definitely watching that. And number three, you can't watch the Rams without just watching Aaron Donald tear shit up, man. So I'm always watching AD, baby.
There you go. One would imagine that Russell Wilson's going to have to create some extra time and be mobile on his feet if Aaron Donald has an impact on the game, which he usually does. And then Sunday Night Football, another big time primetime matchup. Some good matchups this weekend, in the primetime at least. Tyreek Hill versus Tre'Davious White. Tre'Davious White of the Buffalo Bills. Shutdown corner, number one team in your no-fly zone rankings. Tyreek Hill had a real quiet 2 weeks. Then all of a sudden, he takes away all of anybody else's shine in that offense.
Like he always do.
And he didn't just go for one. He didn't just go for two. He went for three. He could have had four. That's the crazy thing. If you played against him in fantasy football, you stood no chance.
No chance, baby. He dropped. You know Tyreek Hill, my number one pick. 55 across the board. 55-point game, man. You don't got no chance, baby.
Yeah, there gotta be like a max points rule, because when he starts going off, it's going crazy. If you're ever playing against him, you don't win. You don't win. You just don't win.
I'm telling you. But that'll be a big time matchup, man, between those guys. Tre'Davious White probably gonna have an assignment to follow Tyreek, and I don't know if he did in the past. I don't know if he followed them like last year and in the playoff game. I don't know if he followed them in the past, but they was unsuccessful in the past, right? So you got to switch something up. I know they trying to switch up how they play them guys. Put your best guy on them, man. Let your best guy get that action, man. So I'm pretty sure he will be on Tyreek this week.
I think the interesting thing here, and you could reflect in all your time playing with the Broncos when you had to play against the Patriots and things like that, or the Steelers. When you play a team that you really expect to see in the postseason, how does that impact the week leading up to it? And maybe even the game planning going up to it. Because part of me, again, I'm not a coach. Part of me would say, you know what, I'm not going to give them all 100% of the playbook. I'm going to give them about 75%. I don't want them to see every trick that we have at the back, because rest assured we're going to see them. At the same time, there could be a situation, if the Bills win this game, there's a strong likelihood they get a better seed than Kansas City. All of a sudden, Patrick Mahomes is coming to snowy Buffalo in late January, and he's not able to pitch the ball around like he would potentially in Kansas City. I mean, obviously, Kansas City's still a cold place as well, but Buffalo is definitely a different type of temperature, definitely a different type of environment. Give me your thoughts on that.
And all of a sudden, Justin Herbert is looking like Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden, the Raiders is looking like they're going to be the surprise team of the year. So you can't play like that, Harrison. Look, we going to see these guys later on. No, you not. Not if Justin Herbert keep playing like he playing. You gonna be number 3 and no playoffs. So you gotta play to win, man. It's 1 week at a time. You can't save no bullets. Play to win this week right here. You don't know if you're gonna see them again.
Okay, so if I had to break it down to 3 things to watch out for, both teams going hard at each other, putting out the whole playbook because very pivotal matchup for playoff seeding. We're looking at Tre'Davious White and Tyreek Hill. Just give me one more thing that you keep my eyes focused on, or viewers should keep their eyes focused on before we get out of here.
Watch how the Buffalo decides to play Mahomes, man. It got to be something different. They saw them a lot of times. They've never been successful against them. They got it. Whatever plan they plan, however they plan on playing him in the playoffs, they got to try that shit out right now. So they should have something drawn up, you know what I'm saying, stirred up, cooked up for him. It should be something different. They one of the main teams who studied the Chiefs in the offseason because they know, like, we the big boys. We got to get through them guys. So I know they put a lot of time in studying the Chiefs. I'm interested to see what their game plan is on defense to stop them.
So interested to see a bunch of games this week in prime time. That matchup between the Rams and the Seahawks, this Kansas City-Buffalo matchup, very entertaining as well. And low-key, excited to see what happens with the Denver Broncos. Can they come back from that loss against the Baltimore Ravens? Will the Pittsburgh Steelers go to 1-4? That sounds crazy, but very much likely if the Broncos come into Heinz Field and do their thing. And that's what we'll talk about on our Thursday show. We'll lock in on the Broncos. Aqib Talib and myself, we got to focus in on that team in that tough AFC West. But that's it for this show. We'll see you next time.